It's Bondzee Live. Trippin With Bondzee on YouTube. Yeah, here we go, baby. How are you? All right, let's get this set up on the old Facebook here so I can see who the hell's tuning in. I am super stoked for tonight's show. All right, there it is right there. How are you? It's Trippin With Bondzee. We're live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, everywhere that this podcast streams. Episode 230. Here we are, live from San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua. It's always great being down here. God, I can't. I hate. It's not that I'm bragging. This is what I chose to do. And I come down here every winter, and I've been coming here since 2017. It's the best spot in the world. I mean, check this out. We'll get into this in a little bit, but I mean, that was tonight's sunset. It was amazing having dinner out on the porch with the people I'm staying with. It's such an amazing sunset, and the view that I got here at the house I'm staying at is absolutely awesome. All right. Before I get started, I don't think I mentioned this the other night because we had the technical difficulties with the sound when we started. And anyways, I just wanted to share this valuable information with you. And if I did this the other night, I apologize. But for those who missed it, you're going to thank me after you hear this information. Golden tip number one, especially for the fellas. And if you're dating a new girl, the worst thing ever is, and it's our bodies and our brains. For some reason, when you're on your first date or at the girl's house for the first time, or she's over at your crib and you're hanging and you're watching a movie and you want to get close and you want to get a kissy and stuff, and your stomach's going, burp, burp, and you're like, oh shit, I got to fart. I learned the best number one tip in the entire world, and I never knew this before. Fellas, all you got to do is be nonchalant, or maybe you're at the island having a nice glass of wine and she's on the other side of the island. You're on one side. You got to fart so bad you can't take off. It's like just brewing. Just reach behind, and all you got to do is just separate the butt cheeks just a little bit. Tried, tested, and true, by the way, because when I read this, I'm like, is this really going to work? Seriously, guys and girls, because I know girls fart too, lest you think different. They do. It's a simple, just a little pull apart, and there will be no sound that comes out, and you can get away with it no matter where you are. Sound free. Just pull the cheeks apart. You're welcome. It's the best tip I've ever got. Anyways, here we are, folks. Trippin With Bondzee, Bondzee Live. The show's brought to you tonight by, here, I better go to the pictures, Shakespeare's Fine Dining, Hamilton, Ontario. Folks, it literally is the best restaurant in all of Ontario, probably all of Canada. I might be a little biased. I grew up with them. I've been going there my whole life. Anyways, it's the place to be. All the hockey players go there. Any celebrity that comes and shoots a movie in Toronto or anywhere around the area, they all go to Shakespeare's Fine Dining, and you should too. Make sure you make a reservation. It's 905-528-0689. They're in Hamilton, Ontario. Check them out. It's www.shakespeares.ca. Make a reservation online or call them. It's the best place to be, hands down. Dad's been cooking in the kitchen for 50 years. Pretty sure he's got that shit tight. The best steaks, the best scallops, the best lobster you've ever had. He's got it all. It's fully on point down there. 100%. I'm struggling, folks. I've been sick. Yes, I still got this man cold. Wow, I know. It's been a fucking minute. Finally went to the doctor yesterday. Anyway, it's breathing. I'm stuffed up, and I'm having a little trouble catching my breath. Anyways, show's also brought to you by The Hip in San Juan del Sur. Folks, this is the place to be in San Juan. There's so many great bars and restaurants here, but The Hip is one of my favorite for sure. Love doing my shows there. Just love going there. The atmosphere is amazing. You guys got to go check it out. So many great food specials, drink specials, live music. They got karaoke, which is absolutely, some people at karaoke's hit or miss. But over at the Hip Bar, you got to have a couple drinks, though. And I know this for a fact because old Bondzee, who is a big drinker, used to go there, and I always loved karaoke. Well, when I first got here, I was sober for the first few nights, and I was there on his karaoke, and I had to go. Karaoke is a whole different fucking ball game when you're sober. Great time when you're drunk and you're having fun with friends. Sober, not so much. Anyways, make sure you go check out the Hip Bar, San Juan del Sur. If you're here, got to come here. Check it out. It's the place to be, 100%. All right, that's a sponsor reads. Let's get into this tonight. I'm really excited. We got a great guest. He's waiting in the background. His name's Andy. He's from an amazing band out of Niagara Falls called Revive the Rose. I have so many questions. And I also have to personally thank him, which I will do. when I see him personally in about 10, 12 minutes or so, I got some stories to get to. Now, I'm probably going to have to save some for next week because there's simply too much to get to. There's so many good things. And I promised myself that we don't do over an hour now. And but I really do have some killer stuff to get to. Anyway, stoked to talk to Andy. And then we got some great guests coming up. One of the Pirates is on his way here from Florida right now. Not Billy, Robbie, Pirate Rob is on his way here. We're actually going to do this a little different. I'm going to sit down with Pirate Rob and Leandro the pirate, and they're going to tell us stories from the ocean. These two are legit pirates. And you're like, Bondzee, what the hell are you talking about? Pirates? They go out stealing from people? No, but there's a different, I'll let them explain it when I interview them. Really stoked to talk to them. Speaking of interviews, sorry to everybody that was expecting to see Gordon Depp last week, lead singer from the Spoons and guitarist for Flock of Seagulls. I was super stoked to talk to him. Had some technical difficulties. He couldn't figure it out. So he'll be back next week. And sadly, Billy the Kid, great musician, love her to death. She was a friend of mine, and I think she's really upset with me. She was supposed to be on the show last week. Internet crashed. Wasn't my fault. Text her like 4 different times, apologizing via Instagram, emails. She's ignored me ever since. So I'm not sure Billy the Kid's coming back on the show, which is too bad because she's awesome. You would have loved her. Listen, no hard feelings on this side. Go check her music out. It's Billy the Kid. She's super talented. She just did 30 songs in 30 days. And I think it's the 4th time she's ever done it. Anyways, I'll still plug her because I love her. I don't know why she's mad at me or upset. It wasn't my fucking fault. I'm not the Wi-Fi guy. You know, I don't rule the power here in San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua. It's a third world country, for Christ's sakes. It's going to happen from time to time. Anyways, got some other great guests coming up as well. Really looking forward to the shows. It's great. I love doing them down here as well. Ooh, I got a burp, but I don't want to do a loud one because I sort of got away from that. It was funny at first. Now it's not. Anyways, old Bonzarelli, I mentioned I was sick, been sick, man cold. It's so funny. If I had this man cold back home in Ontario, I'd be in bed and I'd be the most miserable as fuck. And I'd be like, wow, I'm so sick. Down here, suck it up, bro. Just go. It's been amazing. I got great friends here. 2 amazing people that I know left today and one's leaving tomorrow. So we had a bit of a couple days here. It was pretty fun. Last night we did Isabella's on the beach. Such a beautiful beach bar. And it was Fat Tuesday. Huge thing down in New Orleans, the old Mardi Gras festival and everything. Anyways, this is a picture I took last night outside of Isabella's while we were there eating a shrimp boil with the potatoes, the corn, the whole 9 yards. It was so good. Anyways, the sceneries are down here are just beautiful, and the stars. I just love it. Anyways, it's a great time. We had an awesome time, and I did go to the doctor. Don't have a sinus infection, so we're just gonna take some. Hey, you know what? It's the funniest thing was. You know what the doctor's recommendation was? Kid you not. Because if you watch Monday's show, I talked about how I'm absolutely terrified of the ocean, especially at night. But more so in the day now too. But the doctor said, Greg, you need to go swim in the ocean. It'll get rid of your stuffed up sinuses in no time. And I was like, Dr. Dennis, didn't you watch the show Monday? I told everybody I am. And I don't know why. I can't. Same thing with snakes. I've never had a bad snake encounter, but I'm terrified of them. And I've never had a bad encounter in the ocean. Never been stung by a stingray, knock on wood. Never been bitten by anything. But for some reason, I have a massive hard time of going in the ocean now. Daytime, night, it doesn't matter. If I can't see my feet, I don't like fucking being in anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's ocean, lake, fucking pond. I do not care. It sucks. I don't know where this came from because the last memory I have of being in the ocean was here. 2019, we were out about 4 miles offshore doing some fishing with some friends, and this massive pod of dolphins came around. And one of my friends asked if he could jump in with the dolphins. And I'm like, hell yeah, man, let's go. And so he jumped in and he's swimming around and all the dolphins are circling around. And I'm like, that looks super cool. I need video of that. I need photos of that. So I hop my ass in the ocean. I get the video. I get the photos. But the second that whole nostalgia of them swimming all around me and stuff, my brain went into some weird mode. And we're like, we're 4 miles out offshore, swimming with dolphins. I don't know what eats dolphins, but they could be around and they might want to eat me. And it's like it was right out of a cartoon. That nostalgia wore off so fucking fast. I flew to that boat, got on there, the quickest I've ever swam in my whole entire life. And I've never been able to go in the ocean properly since. Used to surf, used to body surf. Now I don't even like going in the ocean and wading my feet because something's going to come and get me. Anyways, I will man up and put my big boy pants on tomorrow and go swim in the ocean and try and get this mucus grossness out of my face. And so I just feel so puffy and I look disgusting, but it is what it is. Anyways, that's my ocean story. It was funny. That was the first thing the doctor said after talking about it on Monday Night Show. And asshole Greg says, how's the forehead? Yeah, I went out fishing last week. Stupido here. Late putting the sunscreen on. Didn't wear the proper. Sarge is going to be so upset with me. It's unreal. Folks, it's really embarrassing. I'll show you a little bit. That's all I'm going to show you. I done fucked up, okay? Yes, I will learn for next time. Gregory Scott, I told you to get the proper UV hat and to wear the 100,000 SPV sunscreen lotion. I know, Mom. I know you said that. And I fucked up. I forgot. I'm sorry. Anyways, asshole, thanks for bringing up my forehead. It's so bad. It's not even my forehead, my shoulders, my back. Just peeling I feel like a disgusting, scaly, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so gross. Every time I touch my body or my back, the shit's falling off of me, and it's just bad. Anyways, enough about the man cold, enough about the ocean and all that. It's my own thing. I'll get over it. All right. Anyways, we got an amazing weekend coming up here. I can't say, I want to say something, but I can't because Gregory's going to get mad at me who's watching. But I'm really excited. We got some cool things. We got birthday parties coming up. I'm going on a motorcycle road trip this weekend to a couple of beaches I've never been to. And oh, please, folks, do not tell Sarge because she's going to freak when I get home. I'm going to get a sleeve this weekend. I have had this hip tattoo forever. And then we got the other side. It says a good life if you don't weaken. And then I got the crow from Gordy's solo album. It's a bunch of hip stuff. And I love the hip, as you know. Anyways, it is, I'm really looking forward to going to get the sleeve. I've wanted this forever. I'm finally going to do it. And I'm super stoked. Sarge, maybe not so much, but that's okay. It's my body, not hers. Just because she birthed me, she doesn't get to judge and say what I get to put on my body. All right. Couple things I want to talk about. I got a couple news stories. I want to talk about Bruce Willis. Super, super sad story. Dementia is fully kicked in. We're going to get to that in a second. Also, this poor lady, 85 years old, gets eaten by a gator. Now, I want to talk about this for 1 second. I went out for dinner the other night here in San Juan del Sur. I love this place. I will not name this place for so many reasons. Anyways, but I've never had an experience like this in my life. And I'm going to tiptoe through this. Oh, Sarge. Oh, shit. Sarge is watching. I'm in so much trouble. Sorry, Mom. Anyways, it is what it is. I got to talk about this story, though. I've never, ever in my entire life, I'm 49 years old. I've been out to countless dinners with family, friends, my kids, everything. We decided to go to a restaurant, and we happened to be sitting outside the kitchen. Couldn't see in the kitchen. You could hear the kitchen. And it was a beautiful table right in between the kitchen and outside. Great view. Anyways, one of the meals came out wrong. So Buddy sent it back. And from the time it would take to take the plate from the table to the kitchen, which we were sitting outside of, all we hear is... And the three of us looked at each other, and all three of us almost threw up simultaneously. You can say what it will. Maybe it was just simply coincidence, and the chef had to blow his nose or something. Probably not. It was disgusting. Buddy's food came back out. It was unedible. He took the chance of not eating it because the sound that we heard, we were all put off. It was disgusting. I don't know if I'll ever experience that again in my life. It was sad. It was weird. We debated about talking about it, and I felt so bad for Buddy because he was so looking forward to going there. It's one of my favorite places here. And listen, I will go back because it was one of those weird things. The whole bill was comped. The owner was horrified. We told her what happened. And so thank you to the owner of the bar restaurant for taking care of us. And maybe it was simply coincidence. Anyway, I just had to get it out there because it was just such a weird story. I've never, ever in my life experienced something like that. Bad timing, maybe. Speaking of etiquette and weird stuff, and this is more for guys. When you walk into a bathroom and there's, say, 3 urinals, okay? Follow me here. 3 urinals. Guys, you know this. First and foremost, you go to the left or the right. You never, ever, ever go to the middle urinal. It's just code. It's bro code. It's guy code. I went into the bathroom today and I was up at Tree Casa. And I walk in and there's some loser standing in the middle stall. And I actually wanted to say to him, I didn't, just simply just because I didn't want to get into it. Other times I would have. Tonight I wasn't in the mood. But it was just so weird to see a dude standing in the middle urinal when that's just not what you do. It's just not. It's guy code. You go to the left or the right. The only time you go to the middle stall is when the other two are taken. Am I right or wrong here? Like, it's the truth for sure. Anyways, it's just crazy. I just don't get it. Like, how do you not know to go to the left or the right urinal? All right. Bruce Willis, super sad. One of my favorite actors ever. I've been told my whole life I look like Bruce Willis. I'm not, Paul is asking what restaurant. I'm not saying anything. Ron, thanks for tuning in. He says, I think I know what you're talking about. Listen, it's a great place. It really is. And it's got such a great reputation. And it is what it is. We'll just move on from it. It was an unfortunate incident. We didn't see the loogie on the meal that came back out, but it just didn't look proper on the plate. And it was unedible. Put it that way. Moving on. All right. So yeah, Bruce Willis. I've been told my whole life I look like Bruce Willis, which I've always taken as a great compliment. I love that. Could be worse. Could be told you look like Danny DeVito or something like that. Anyways, super sad. I don't know if you've been following the story, but Bruce a year ago it was more than a year ago, he got diagnosed with dementia, and he knew he was going downhill. And I don't know if you know this, but he filmed 9 movies last year in 2022 with the aid of an earpiece because he couldn't remember all his lines. It was going downhill fast. And it got to the point now, Bruce Willis is on 24/7 care. It's the saddest thing. I mean, he's such an amazing actor. The greatest Christmas movie ever. Right here, this one, I got to put it up. Again, I'm working solo here tonight, so bear with me. But honestly, poor Bruce Willis. Love this guy to death. One of the greatest Christmas movies ever, Die Hard. It's just unreal. And it went on from there. So many great movies. His role in Pulp Fiction was absolutely off the charts. And then he did that movie with Shyamalan, whatever his name is. Great movie called Glass. Also, The Sixth Sense. There's so many great movies that Bruce did. And it's just sad that dementia is one of those wicked fucking things that just eats you up. And it can get you quicker than not, too, right? One of my biggest fears in life, honest to God, is not being able to remember not only my name, but my kids. My parent, like if they're still like, I don't know, like it probably won't be. But anyways, it's just one of those things where it's got to be so gut wrenching to not know a soul in the room when you really do know them, but your brain won't let you know them. Anyway, it's a super sad story. Bruce Willis, one of the greatest actors out there, amazing movies. And he's great for sure. Love him to death. Oh, what else? I'm trying to just slow down here, calm down. I'm fired. I'm shot up. I'm excited to be here and do the show. Sarge has also got me wrapped up too because she's going to be so angry with me. Anyways, my friend here says it's a dinner he'll never forget. Yeah, it was. It's one of those things. It is what it is. Anyways, and Angie says, quit moving away from the mic. We can hardly hear you. Oh, is the sound that bad? Sorry. It's at full blast. Let me check. I love being yelled at by my second mom, Angie. All right. One more quick story. I got to show you this video and talked about the story. This poor lady, 85. Can you imagine living at 85 years old? No dementia, no nothing. This poor lady never had cancer, nothing. She's out walking her dog in her little retirement home, having the greatest of lives, minding her own business in her retirement place in Florida. And all of a sudden, eaten by a fucking gator. Sorry, Mom, for swearing. But it's just could you imagine minding your own business, walking around, and then all of a sudden this guy jumps out of the water Totally attacks her. And not only, usually, here's the way the story goes with alligators in Florida. They will attack. It is rare. But they usually only like sort of bite once and let go and then piss off. Anyway, this poor fella here, he decided that he was super angry and he didn't let go and he mauled her to death and she died. I was going to show the whole video of it and stuff. And I'm going to, there's no need to. You see the size of the alligator. It's absolutely crazy. Poor lady, 85 years old, minding her own business, gets eaten by a gator. Super rare, crazy story out of Florida. It was her time. That's the way I look at it, folks. We are a number on this planet. If your number's up, you're going. And it might be a good way. You might fall asleep and die, or you might get eaten by an alligator in Florida while you're walking your 85-year-old dog. That's Colin. Oh, that's Colin. Thank you. Anyways, it is really sad, though, at the end of the day. Her family, that's sad for them. 85 years old, great life, boom, gone. All right. I'm really looking forward to this. Let's bring him on. Let's get to my guest. He's been waiting patiently in the background. This guy's badass, and I'm really excited to talk to him. Andy, how the hell are you?
Hey, good. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm really good. And listen, I'm down here in San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua, having a great time, and life's good down here.
I can imagine, man. It's probably a lot nicer than the icy rain, the icy roads warning we got today here. So yeah, man, I
I
believe
heard
it.
it's you're in the Niagara Falls area. I heard it's supposed to get pretty bad there in the next couple days. So
Yeah, that's right, man. Yeah, that's what they're saying.
listen, well, thanks for taking the time to join me on Trippin With Bondzee. First and foremost, I got to start by saying thank you for what you did for me back on Canada Day, Our Lady Peace concert. We never met at the concert, but this is something I have talked about slightly on the show. It wasn't one of my favorite nights of my life, but I ended up in a place I probably shouldn't have been, and in a really dark place in Bala, Ontario, after the Our Lady Peace show. And you and your girlfriend were kind enough to come and check on me and make sure I was okay. And from that moment on, we sort of had the greatest night after that. And we jammed in a parking lot in Bala until the wee hours of the morning. And it was just one of those nights where I sort of slipped. And two beautiful angels like yourself and your girlfriend were there to help me out. And I am truly thankful for that night. So thank you.
Oh man, it's that ended up being such a great night chilling with you too, man. And I'm just glad, just right place and right time for us to get introduced there. I know it was you weren't having a good night in that sort of way, but
Yeah,
everything just kind of works out, I guess, in some form, whether it starts off negative and then you just never
it
know
did.
what one thing will lead to.
You're right. And it did start off negative and it absolutely ended in the greatest way. You're a great musician. And you and your girlfriend pulled out the guitars and we just sang in the parking lot and we laughed and we cried and I cried. And we had a great time and it's turned into this great friendship now. And so we'll move on from that. I want to talk about so we talked about music. You're a great guitar player. How'd you get into guitar? Who was your influence and what age were you when you picked up a guitar and started this?
Well, the fact that you say I'm a great guitar player means a lot because I'm actually probably one of the most mediocre guitar players known to
Ah,
man.
stop
But
it.
thank you.
Yeah, you're
I
humble.
I'm usually a drummer by trade. But
Okay.
guitar though, it was kind of all self-taught for me. I just kind of picked it up because what happened was, yeah, I started as a drummer, and then I wanted to learn bass. And once I learned bass, I kind of said, maybe I'll try this guitar thing out. I remember I had a buddy that I was jamming with, and he said, "Bro, just tune that string down to drop D, and you can play just about anything punk rock." So that's how I just kind of got into it. But if there's guitar players that I do look up to that I like hope to get better at in that realm and that have inspired me to even pick up the guitar, Dave Grohl, definitely just like a jack of all trades human being. He's just so good. And
Totally is.
I love how like I feel like because he is a drummer, just the way he locks in with guitar is just
Yeah.
like outstanding. And
Yeah.
I want to say Billy Joe Armstrong's one of my favorite guitar players too. Like Green Day, just all three of
Great.
them
I love
are
it.
just absolute powerhouses, and like they're just so like locked in, and I absolutely admire that. So
Yeah.
I would say them two. for me personally, inspired me to pick this guitar up. So
you start with the drums, then you go to the bass, then you go to the guitar. You're a fucking show off, first and foremost, because I can't even play one of those instruments, and you could play all three. So was that one of those things where you went home from school as a young kid, and instead of sports or girls per se, you just sat in your room and practiced drums and instruments, or how did that work?
honestly, yeah, man, I was a pretty like, I'd come home, I'd either go hang out with some friends, or just jam and record drum covers, or just get some of the fellas over, make a bunch of crappy frozen food, and play video
Noise.
games all day. Like, I was that guy, just writing and chilling and doing all that stuff.
That's cool. Music is such a special thing in most people's lives. I don't think I've met a person that says I hate music. And listen, we all have our own sort of niche and stuff with music. And you mentioned Green Day, you mentioned Dave Grohl. You're sitting in the garage and you're playing the drums or the bass or whatever it is. Was there a point in time where you knew that you wanted to do this forever and make it as a career and make money out of it?
Well, I gotta say, I've been pretty hungry to just be a musician like my entire life. I was very fortunate. I have a very musical family. My old man, he's a retired high school music teacher,
Okay.
as well. And he plays saxophone mainly. And him and my mom, who my mom's a singer, grow every weekend. They'd have gigs. They had a wedding band. They'd be out every weekend.
Oh, wow.
And my mother is probably one of the best singers I know ever. But she's a professional Broadway singer. Any type of singing, like, she'll crush it. And she's also opera trained. And her and my two aunts, actually, they're a trio, and they're called the Mantini Sisters, and they would tour all over when I was a kid, like all through Canada, a
Wow.
bit in the States and whatnot. So I was just, and I'd sell my mom CDs once in a while, at her shows and stuff. So I just kind of got thrown into it with my older brother. He plays guitar, and we both started on piano, but then I don't know, something about the drums. I think I just naturally gravitated to the drums, and me and my brother started jamming, and then we were just so fixated with, like, oh, that'd be cool, like, make a record like how mom makes records and stuff, and just, I don't know, that's kind of how it all started.
That's cool. So music's in your blood. Is it something that you can play by ear, or was it something you didn't get that and you had to practice at it, or did it simply come easily because of your mom and dad's background?
Um, well, actually, like, I think I guess, like, the skill of it wise, when I started on piano, that really helped me develop a good ear pitch for a lot of things, and just kind of figuring out, like, theory and whatnot. But yeah, I definitely had to put a lot of work into drums for sure. But I still had, like,
Yeah.
that slight natural gravitation to it, like, where I kind of got, like, the basics of it. But, like, to fully develop myself to where I am now, like, yeah, a lot of practice and a lot of listening, just a lot of buddies going, like, hey, like, check out Neil Peart, or like, hey, you know
Yeah.
uh check out all this stuff. So I just lot and my drum teachers, I was actually, before I got introduced to rock music, I was actually jazz and Latin trained mainly on drums. And it wasn't until my brother, who started child acting, his first role ever was a Billy Talent music video lead role. He's the little kid in Devil in a Midnight Mass by Billy Talent music video.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, and I told him at the time, I'm like, I know Billy Talent, but I didn't know the hell Billy Talent was. And he came back with a signed first album from Billy Talent. And I'm like, well, now I have to listen to this. And that's what got me into, like, punk rock and stuff like that. And then Guitar Hero came out. So
Yeah.
it's all transitions, man.
For sure, for sure. And I had this question, and I thought it was going to be way funnier. It's not going to be now because your parents are musicians and actually did this for a living. So I was going to ask, what was your parents' response when you told them you were going to make music for a living and that's what you were going to do? So it sort of doesn't have that same kick now, knowing what your parents did.
Well, they did. You know what's funny? I did say have this conversation. They said, "Well, just get the diploma first, then I don't care what you do. So
There
I
you
did.
go.
I graduated from marketing school.
Good for you.
So
Attaboy.
that was the deal. Then I could do whatever the hell I want.
That's the way to do it. It keeps the parents happy, and then you still get to go out and do what you love. So now you can play drums, the bass, guitar. You probably had some bands in high school, but let's get to the band you're in now, Revive the Rose. Amazing band. You guys are killing it.
Thank
How did
you.
that all start, and how do you know these guys, and how did it all mold together?
Yeah, so Revive the Rose actually began all the way in 2014, which is where I actually started out as the drummer and lead singer. I was doing both at that time.
Wow, a
And I
little a
did
la
that
Phil
for
Collins.
yeah, that's right. And I did that for about 3 years of the band. But I met my guitar player Pete in high school. Um, we only jammed once in grade 12 because he found out like way later on that I played drums. I didn't even know he played guitar. I just knew him. He was just a great guy, you know. And
Okay.
finally, our old bassist at the time, he was the one that filled him in on it, and he kind of set the jam up. And we got together at my house and we played. I saw the video. It's on Facebook. It's we jammed "In Bloom" by Nirvana, and then
Wow.
uh, we didn't jam for a whole year after that until we graduated. And then at the time, I did have a high school band called Cops on Commission, and it was kind of fizzling out. Everyone kind of started branching off in different ways, and I had these other songs laying around that were more like just rock and roll vibes. Cops on Commission was more like like punk rock kind of vibes, and
Yeah.
I sent Steve and Pete. I bumped the old group chat up. I'm like, hey man, I got like these tunes. I don't know if you want to try them out and see what we can do. And yeah, we jammed and we had a good time. And at that time, I was at Mohawk College in Hamilton studying music, and that's where I met Matt, my other guitar player. And Matt, him and I were just kind of bored of jamming jazz all the time at school. We're like, man, it's kind of boring. And so we decided to book a practice room and jam some Led Zeppelin and just like rock.
Way
And
better.
we got to talk, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm from Niagara." And I'm like, "Oh shit, me too, man." I'm like, "Hey, we're actually looking for another guitar player for this band I just started," and that's how that happened. We brought him out, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. I got to ask, Revive the Rose, unique name. Where did it come from? How did you end up with that?
Yeah, man. Revive the Rose. So, um, Welland, which is technically like where me and Pete are from,
Okay.
which is in the Niagara region, um, that is called the Rose City, and it's apparently Windsor's also the Rose City, but I didn't know that. But
Nor did I.
Welland had one of the most well-known punk scenes growing up in the early 2000s called RCHC, which was called Rose City Hardcore. And man, these guys from like Thursdays to Sunday, they were filling like, Lions clubs and like all those like the community centers or whatever, just
Yeah.
packed like 500 kids. Like it was just a whole scene going on, Attack and Black, Alexis on Fire, like all these bands.
Wow.
And it just kind of fizzled out, I guess, like according to the elder people of the community before my time. Um, and I don't know, we just thought that was kind of fascinating. Our one bandmate suggested that we call it Revive the Rose, kind of for that reason. So
I love, excuse me. I love it. I think it's catchy. It's a cool tune or a good name. And, yeah, you can't go wrong with the rose and the logo of it as well. It's a rose is a beautiful, it's my mom's favorite flower. It's my favorite. It's super awesome.
hell yeah.
I gotta, so you guys, I'm fascinated by the amount of the bands that you've opened for, dude. It's a pretty impressive lineup. You guys have been around since 2014. You've opened for bands like Glorious Sons, one of my favorite bands. Huge, one of the biggest bands in Canada right now. Big
That was
Wreck.
our second show ever.
Was it really?
Yeah, it's when they dropped White Noise when they're on tour for White Noise. We
Okay.
op- we opened for them then, and it was a
Where did
great
you open
time.
for them? Yeah, it didn't say in the bio. I couldn't figure that out. But where did you open for them?
This was at Detour Music Hall at the time in St. Catharines. It was about
Okay.
to 150 people. That's it, man. And
Wow.
it was great. It was shortly after they won Rock Search. They just signed with Black Box, and they were hitting the road,
Right.
and with another great band, Teenage Kicks, if you ever heard of them.
Okay, I haven't, but I love hearing new music and names, so I'll check them out. You open for Monster Truck, The Trues, Bush, dude, like world famous band. Those are some pretty impressive names. I gotta ask, because I've never been in a band or opened for bands like Bush or the Glorious Sons. Is it nerve wracking and scary as hell?
I mean, I'll speak for myself, I guess. It, a lot of the build up for me, it's just all excitement. I'm just constantly looking forward to that moment. I like we as a band, we invest so much love and time and energy into just like what we've made over the years,
Yeah,
you know, and we want nothing more, man. We just like that's what we want to do, you know, and I think like we're just the bigger the better for like the crowd, you know, like we
yeah,
vibe it big time. I remember one of my first bigger shows though was when we opened for Monster Truck in 2018 for the first time. I was a little nervous for that one just because I had never played to a crowd that big before and for a
yeah.
band that big. So I was just like
What's the
mesmerized of the whole
mindset
thing.
going into it, Andy? Like backstage, you're sitting in the green room or the dressing room, whatever, and you're sitting there and yourself alone. I want to know both answers. Yourself alone, but also like, is there a conversation that goes on with the rest of the band to go, holy fuck, guys, we're going out to open for Monster Truck or Bush or whatever it may be. And there's more people out there than we've ever seen. What goes through your mind, and then what's the conversation like with the band?
um, Honestly, usually it's just a lot of holy facts. A lot of boys, look at all the fucking people out there. Let's go.
Right?
And just a lot of fist bumps and and drinking usually, but I as of 53 days, I haven't touched any booze actually. So,
Good
but
for you.
I'm just
Congrats.
saying in those moments, yes. But yeah, man, just a lot of like spur of the moment and a lot of running around too, just like, you know, just making sure everything's running good and whatnot. But yeah, for the most part, we're just like this ball of energy ready to explode all the time. Even backstage, we're just like, let's go, like, let's get
Yeah.
hyped. So they're hyped. They're
So
like, you know, like
is there ever a throw up moment right before you go on stage, or has that ever happened with either you or one of the guys in the band, or is it one of those things where yeah, super nerves, but as soon as you get out on stage, you just do what you do and you do it well.
yeah, I only one time I felt that way actually too, like later on was when we opened for the Trues for the first time, but it was for cars. Like it was like a drive-in show in
Okay.
2020. And
Oh yeah,
I don't
COVID.
know. It was just weird playing the cars, man. But it was like also
I
like,
bet.
yo, we're opening for the Trues. So like I just had like a lot of mixed feels at the time, but it was awesome.
Yeah. As a band from Niagara Falls, and you started, and it's not a music mecca, if you will, like a Kingston or a Hamilton or a Toronto. How did you guys sort of get big, and how do you get to open for bands like Bush and Glory Sons and Big Wreck and that? A manager, a good manager, like how does that all work?
We got a manager, management team involved in 2019, which was a really big year for us as a band, and they've definitely helped us get onto some bigger shows and Sound of Music Festival and a bunch of other stuff. Um, but before that, though, 'cause they've helped substantially. But before that, I guess in the early days, coming from like the just the kids playing in wherever they can. Honestly, I felt like we've just had such a good chemistry as people and friends and our music. I felt it just kind of really stood out, and our live show was just always like beaming, and I felt like we were able to kind of like I don't know, like I just felt like we that's how we gained fans best was just giving it our all every show we did and always refining our tunes and you know, we just we're not shy, you know, we'll put ourselves all over on online and whatnot. We like
Well,
that
that's it. You guys are high energy. You put on a great live show, and your social media game is on point, and all that helps a band grow, as that entity and stuff. It's been really cool to see you guys grow, and I've known you about a year now, and it's been amazing. Like, I love watching your videos. There's a lot of energy there. It's been fantastic. The following, you guys have really built up a great fan base and following from being a great live band and being on point on social media and stuff. That really has to help. Would you play a song for us, Andy?
Yeah, I could play a song. That's no problem.
Yeah, I got a couple more questions. We got to talk about the beer, for sure, and but we'll get into all that after you play us a song.
Sure, I can definitely do that. Oops. I got my old acoustic here. I hope this sounds fine.
That'd be good.
Let's see though. Can you hear the guitar okay?
Yep, we can hear you great. What are you gonna play for us?
I'll play one of our new songs off our last record we did.
Okay.
And it's off our record Heartless Place, but the song is called World's Smallest Violin. And I do apologize. I will say one whole swear word in this song. So
Sarge is used to it by now. You're all good.
but yeah, this is off our new record. And it's one of my favorite songs.
Andy from Revive the Rose is going to play live for us right now on Trippin with Bondzee. Let's go.
Hell yeah. I'm riding for the ones who stuck around all day to say I have found that no one really gives a fuck. But hey, what's that sound? A bright idea hanging by a thread, and now it's gone. And now they're playing the world's smallest violin. Now they're playing the world's smallest violin. Now they're playing the world. I'm writing for the girl I knew from high school that was shame, 'cause now she's found a guy who never bothered to get laid. It's so profound. He's working hard to give his pay away, and now it's gone. And now she's playing the world's smallest violin. 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 Now she's playing the world. I couldn't pinpoint all the times before. I'll get that, so I will strive for more. Now they're playing the world's smallest violin. Now they're playing the world's smallest violin. Now they're playing the world's smallest violin. Now they're playing the world.
Awesome. Love it, man.
Thanks,
Great.
man.
World's smallest violin. That's Andy from the band called Revive the Rose. I got to ask, Niagara Falls, like I said, we mentioned earlier, it's not the biggest music mecca town or city in Ontario, and there's so many good ones. Has there ever been talk about the band because you guys are up and coming? You've opened for great bands, as we mentioned too. Is there talk of moving to Hamilton or Kingston or Toronto, where it's more of a bigger music mecca, if you will?
Like moving location wise, not
Yeah, and
really.
just being sort of it. No, okay.
It's
Did it ever
yeah,
come up as a conversation in the band and go, hey, maybe we should go up to Kingston and get an apartment and try and just get your craft out there more in a bigger music city, if you will.
I feel like we're all really comfortable here in Niagara, and it's so close to like most things, even like over the border and whatnot. And
And that
you
was my
know,
next question: is do you get to take advantage of that? And you guys hop over the border a lot and play over at some cool clubs and stuff over there. And
we've actually never played outside of Ontario besides
come on,
Montreal yet.
wow,
We did have plans to do that in 2020, but you know what happened that year. But yeah, no, we're just yeah, we're happy with just kind of our markets right now, and we're looking to definitely expand that when the time makes sense to do that. But
yeah,
yeah, thank God for festivals. Honestly, like those things are great for like a new band to get heard and to kind of plant the seed in a new city. You know what I mean?
for
Or
sure.
or like opening for a bigger band. You know what I mean? That's a great opportunity to like just get heard. You know what I mean? And connect with some fans. You know?
Yeah. So when you get to play for bands like Bush or Glorious Sons, and I know when he played for the Sons, they weren't as big as they are now, but even like guys like Big Wreck and stuff who are pretty big Canadian bands, do you get to see them? Do you get to hang with Gavin Rosdale and have some drinks, or how does that whole thing work? Because I mean I just never been that guy, so dying to know if you ever get to hang with them, or are they assholes? Are they cool?
Sometimes we get to hang out with them, but sometimes not at all, or like it'll be for like a brief second, like you know, later on, or like transitioning from sound checks, or like
Sure.
you know, but it really just depends the band, I guess. I personally never got to meet Bush, unfortunately, which is a
Yeah.
bummer, but it
Yeah.
was pretty mesmerizing just to be like front row and just watching that, you know.
For sure. Well, and that's got to be a perk too. You get to open for them, and then you get to watch a show in the best seats too.
Oh yeah, it was great. Randy Bobandy from Trailer Park Boys was a MC in the evening. It was fantastic.
Awesome. The band's latest release, an EP, it's called Heartless Place, which you just mentioned. That was a single off it. People can find it on all the streaming sites. I'm fascinated by music and songs and how they all come together. Take me through the writing process for Revive the Rose. Who's in charge? Is it you, or is it a collective thing in a band, or is there just one writer?
No, it's 100% collective for sure.
Okay.
We like either like it can work in different scenarios. Like either we'll just be in the jam room and we'll just someone will start a riff and then we all just kind of add on to it and make it one thing. Sometimes like I'll come with like a full idea of sorts and like or Pete will come with like a full idea and like we'll just all kind of refine each other's like whatever is brought to the table kind of deal. It really just goes different ways with especially with 5 guys in the band, right? You never know what's
And
gonna
that's the
happen.
thing. I mean, is there a lot of arguments? Are you like, oh no, that line sucks, fuck you, or is it just you guys are all cool? You have this understanding that because not a lot of bands sit down and write together. There's usually maybe one guy or maybe two guys at tops, and the other three members or two members, whatever's in each band, don't want anything to do with the writing process. So it's cool that there's all five of you involved in it. That does it ever come to not blows, but is there some good arguments sometimes over lyrics when you're writing a new a song or album?
No, it's all pretty constructive criticism, like, towards each other, like, just like, "Oh, I think it should be like this," like, because, you know, like, "This part doesn't need to be this long," you know, or something like that. We're like, "Oh, true, man," or like, you know, like, "Oh, you know, I think there's, like, a better word for that, but, like, you're on the right track, but just not that word, but, like, something
Yeah,
to do in regards to that meaning," you know? Like, it's more like
yeah,
that, you know?
that's cool. That's really
We're all
amazing
really
that
chill.
Yeah, that's cool, and I've seen that just even seeing your videos and listening to music. Speaking of music, one of your great songs, and I think it's your biggest hit. It's called "Bar Down," which is also I got a bunch of questions about this song because not only did it make it onto NHL 21, which is a pretty big deal in itself, the video game, right? I got to know how that happened. So let's start with the song "Bar Down." It's on NHL 21. Who orchestrated that and made that happen?
Um, the song itself was definitely all a group effort. But I happened to be I was in a shopping mall at in St. Catharines, which is also Niagara. And it's called the Penn Center, and I was there, and I saw the Niagara Ice Dogs. They had like a booth set up around Christmas time. It was like around Boxing Day or something like that. Um, I saw him. I don't know, just like a little thing clicked in my head. I'm like, oh, like just like for future reference, I should like get that business card. Maybe like they'll have like someone there that's like the higher up, just chilling there. But
Yeah.
conveniently, I just asked one of the hockey players that were manning the booth, and they're like, "Yeah, here's our manager's card." They gave it to me, and it finally, we were just kind of brainstorming, and I was just kind of like, "Oh, that'd be cool if we made them like a theme song." You know, like we were trying to think of ideas, like, "Hey, how do we just like kind of change the process a little more? Like, how do we just like go from like local band to like the next step almost? Like, how do we get that? You know?" And I
Yeah.
thought maybe, well, we're a Canadian band. We were really thinking about our image, you know, and we're like, well, we're like just a bunch of buds, and from the town we're from, people love hockey and rock and roll and drinking. So we're like, well, hockey
There you go.
fans are that perfect portfolio there. So I essentially I reached out to these guys before we even had the song made, and I just said, yeah, we got a hockey song for you. Like, well, we're gonna make one, and they're like, great. All right, we'll this is a good idea. We want to spice it up. We were always doing the same old around here. So I told the boys, I'm like, hey, I told them we have a song, but like we actually didn't have a song yet. So then we got to cracking in the laboratory and we made the song, and we recorded it. And honestly, man, I don't. And then we made a music video in their change room, like
Yeah, with
the
their
locker room.
jerseys on and everything. I saw it. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, my cousin happened to be like one of the Ice Dogs like film dudes, like for their
Okay.
games. So he's like, I can get you in there. So like he filmed that video. Um, I want to say, man, maybe before like 2 weeks before hockey season, like we had it like ready to go. Or like, hey, this is your song. Like it's called
Yeah.
Bar Down, and this is it. And they're like,
Awesome.
great, this is awesome. And then we'll play it at every home game.
It's awesome, and they do that, and then not only that, but you turned the song called "Bar Down" into a beer, Bar Down Lager. How did that all start? Walk me through that process, because now it's in bars and restaurants in Southern Ontario and stuff, and that's a pretty big deal in itself and pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I guess like escalating for chapter two of that process, what happened with all that hype was that I ended up feeling confident enough to send it to the Toronto Maple Leafs DJ. I didn't even know if he'd get back to me, but he did. And he's like, I'll play this for one game. And then he did. And we were really happy just based on that. But then I noticed that our plays were consistent and people were going like, "Hey, like I just heard your song the other day." I'm like, "Well, that's weird. The guy never emailed me about that." And then I looked on our artist end on the streaming for Spotify. It's called Artist for Spot or Spotify for Artists. And I noticed this little playlist called the Toronto Maple Leafs warm up playlist. And I was like, well, and it was made by DJ Cale Granton. And I'm like, interesting. And it was 11 tracks that were handpicked to be their official warm up playlist for the season, which he didn't even bother to tell me. So I was like, oh
Yeah,
my God. So I emailed him and I'm like, dude, this is sick. Thanks so much. And I got the paper to write on it to make it official.
yeah,
And from there, we ended up trying to make clickbait content to get EA Sports to like, get
pick
their
it up.
attention.
Yeah,
And eventually I did get the producer's email, and um and yeah, and once he found out that it was a Toronto Maple Leafs warm-up song, he like was all over it, and he put a bunch of his crew in the email, like he CC'd more people, and that's what led to the video game deal months later. And but that was during COVID, so we couldn't tour this hype. So we're like, well, beer's essential, so why don't we just make a beer? And we've always been saying it'd be cool to have a band beer one day, and this we were like, well, now's the time to do that. So, and here
Yeah,
we are.
that's amazing. It's how does one do you go through taste tests and you I mean you obviously don't want to put out a shitty product and stuff, so was there a lot of the band members sitting around at nights taste testing all these different lagers and flavors and hops and it's too hoppy or it's not this, it's not enough of this, but who picked the ultimate final beer to go out on the market?
Well, I remember the brewery, like when I called them up just to kind of be like, hey, here's what's going on. We're in NHL 21 now, and we want to make a beer about it. I kind of left it up to their brewmaster to kind of make the flavoring choice of it, and they
Okay.
wanted to incorporate roses, obviously, into it.
Yeah.
So they decided, okay, let's get our base lager, but let's fuse it with some hibiscus, rose hips, and wild berries. So
Nice.
what they did was they let it sit in essentially like a giant tea bag for like 4 weeks in the big keg. But at each time they took different samples based on like how many weeks it's been. So I think we had about 4 different samples, one at different times. And the
Right.
final product was the one at full 4 weeks. So it takes 4 weeks to brew bar down lager, like the one that was the final pick. So
Awesome.
when they had all these samples, they called me, Pete, and Matt to come down and try different samples, and that's the one we settled with, was the stronger one.
Cool. Bar down lager, where can people get it in Ontario? Is it's in restaurants and stuff? Is it at the beer store or
It's not at the beer store at the moment, but you can order it right on the brewery's website. They'll mail it to you. Um,
awesome? Right
but
to your door.
there are
What's
a few
better?
bars that have participated. I want to say from Niagara, our farthest location is Kincardine at Bar Down Bar Pub.
Nice.
Um,
There you go.
but we're in currently Niagara, Hamilton, Toronto, and Kincardine right now. So
That's amazing. Congratulations. I mean, there's so many, like it's a big thing these days with people making their own booze. Like I'm a big Spittin' Chicklets fan, and two of those guys on the show. One's got the Pink Whitney, which is an awesome
from Welland,
yeah, vodka, like a lemonade
Pink
vodka is what I
Whitney.
was trying to find. And Biz Nasty from Welland, your area, he's got the Big Deal Brewing going on, and it's not in Canada yet, but it's down in the States, and it is a new thing, and it's taken off for people. Well, look at the Nelk Boys; they got their own seltzers out and stuff too. Happy Dad. And that's cool that you guys as a band, you make this single. It takes off not only, for fans, but Toronto Maple Leafs pick it up and play it in their warm-up list. And it's on the NHL 21 list. And now it's a goddamn beer, bro. So that's something to be pretty happy about for sure. And thankful for.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's surreal sometimes, man. Like just like it's hard to believe the song's almost 5 years old now, but like it's
Yeah.
snowballed ever since
Yeah.
it came out for all those years. Like I'm finally just
Awesome.
sitting down being like, huh, it's 5 years old in October this year. I'm like, God dang. So
Crazy.
yeah, just like but just crazy how like one thing led to another, and like it almost didn't get the video game because we're like, well, it is a 2018 single, and we're like, yeah, but the Leafs are
Yeah,
using it
but
right now, so we're like, so
perfect. What do we got going on? What's coming up, bro? New music, touring this summer, music festivals. Where are we at? Tell the people. Where can they see Revive the Rose and hear some new music? What do we got going on?
yeah, so currently we are writing and preparing to record more music. But and we do have some shows that are still being booked right now and some festival spots. But the one that we just announced our first show back April 29th in our second hometown, Peterborough,
Nice.
opening for the Killjoys.
Love that band
Yeah, they're phenomenal.
for sure. That's awesome. April 29th, Peterborough. What's the name of the venue? I've been to a couple of places there. Which one? Where are you playing at?
So this one's a brand new venue. It's called Urban.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
that's on George Street North.
Gotcha. Great little town. Love going out to Peterborough to see bands and have a blast out there. I'm really looking forward to the new music, and I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. Can we get one more song before you go?
For sure, man. And yeah, I just want to say it's been great catching up with you too, man. And I want to add on real quick. I know you were talking about the ocean earlier. I fucking hate sunken ships or sunken anything. That is like my number one phobia besides heron food and hornets. I can't stand sunken objects that like I
or
have no
loogies in
control of.
food, by the way.
Yeah. So
not sure if you caught that either, but yeah, we won't go back there.
Yeah, but that's I just wanted to add that in before I
Yeah,
play
for
it
sure.
out, dude.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. This is Andy Colonico. Is that how you say it? Colonico?
Yeah, you could say it that way.
Colonico?
From what I know, it's Colonico or Colonico.
Colonico. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. It's Revive the Rose. Andy's going to play us one more song before we get the hell out of here. Looking forward to it. Let's go. It's Trippin with Bondzee with Andy.
All right, let's see. This is I'll play you the song off that's the title of her last record. It's called Heartless Place. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I'm sick and tired of waiting for them to come around. As long as I'm aware that none of this is worth my time. People lying and cheating, but they can't even believe that you're gonna be on their side if you want to get by. I'm in a hardest place. 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 I'm always fighting a war, 'cause I'm staying my ground. They will never alter what my mission is in this life. Well, I know certain things were caught in a reckless race. I'm in a hardest place. In a hardest place. I'm in a hardest place. I'm in a hardest place. But when I figure it out, I'll buy my ways. In a hardest place. And I know sometimes we caught in a reckless race. I'm in a hardest place. In a hardest place. I'm in a hardest place. I'm in a hardest place. I'm in a hardest place. Yeah. I'm in a hardest place. I'm in a hardest place. Oh, yeah, I'm in a hardest place. But when I figure it out, I'll buy my ways.
Yeah, man. Andy from Revive the Rose. Thanks so much. Listen, we were meant to meet on that crazy night, Canada Day of 2022, Bala, Ontario. We saw a great concert. Our Lady Peace killed it up there. Sadly, after it didn't turn out the best for me, but it sort of did in the end because I got to meet you and your lovely girlfriend, and and now I've had you on my show, and you killed it, and it was a pleasure chatting with you.
Likewise, man. I'm so glad this life worked out that way. We got to meet in some form, man. I'm just glad it's led to today. Now we're both doing good, and man, always a pleasure, man. I'm so glad we got to catch up, dude.
Yeah, me too. Guys, it's Revive the Rose. Go check them out. It's on all the social media at Revive the Rose. They're on all the streaming sites. Go support them. Check them out this summer. And wherever they're touring, follow them on. You got a website too. It's www.revivetherose.ca or .com.
Yep, .ca.
.ca. There we go. Survive the Rose. Love this guy, Andy. It's been a real pleasure. You sounded great, and I really enjoyed this tonight. Thanks so much.
Hey, man, Bondzee, so great catching up, man. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing this. Take care.
You too,
we'll
man.
We'll do this again down the road for sure. All the best to you in the band this summer for sure. You bet. Trippin With Bondzee. That was Andy from Revive the Rose. That was awesome. Make sure you go check him out on all the social medias at Revive the Rose. So watch them on YouTube. Their videos are great. There's so much energy in the band when you see them live or just see the videos. Absolutely awesome. All right, that was great. It's time to get the hell out of here. So thankful to be doing this show. We're live from San Juan del Sur. Super thankful for my sponsors as well. Huge shout out to Scramble Clothing. Go check them out online. www.scrambleclothing. That's scramble with a K. Scrambleclothing.com. They got amazing beachwear, surfwear, golf wear as well. Buddy took his 3 favorite things, going to the beach, surfing, and golf, and made this amazing clothing line. They got women's wear, kids wear, men's wear. Go check them out. They'll give you a great deal. Be part of the squad. It's Scramble Clothing, Scramble with a K. Right on. Also, show is brought to you tonight by my son's clothing line, Don't Trip Your Fine. Listen, this kid is killing it. He's making great music. He's still doing his magic, but now he's got his clothing line as well. As we just played his new song last week on the show, which was awesome. Go check it out. And he just shot a video with my pal, Rich Meisner, 2 days ago in Toronto for his brand new song. So I can't wait to show you guys that video. Rich is one of the best directors. He's filmed for so many amazing Canadian bands and directed videos for them. Go check out Brad's clothing line. You can get toques, t-shirts, hoodies. It's called Don't Trip Your Fine, www.don'ttripyourfine.ca. Go check them out. All right, that's it. That's all. It's Bondzee. Had a great time. This is such a blast. Love doing the show. Can't wait. We got some great guests coming up. Can't wait to sit down with the Pirates. Those guys got some insane stories from out on the ocean, at sea. And we got musicians. We got so many more people coming up. That's it. That's all. I'm sick. I'm getting the hell out of here. Adios. Bye. It's Bondzee. Peace.
What was that?
That was very strange.
It was very weird.
Peculiar.
It was kind of amusing.
Yes, it was rather funny.
It was incredibly funny.
I loved it.
Hilarious.
It's Bondzee Live. Bondzee on YouTube.